Hey, I'm Steve from Within the Ruins, and this is Brutal Planet.
Hello, this is Ron Bumblefoot Thal of Sons of Apollo, and welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
This is Mike Howe from Metal Church, and welcome to Brutal Planet.
This is Livia Graham from Livescene, and welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
This is Hulk Hoffman of Video. Welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
And this is JT from Syra, and welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
Hey, this is Nick Reese from Joyous Wolf, and this is Brutal Planet Magazine.
We are Thunder Mother, and welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
Tom Banglund here. Just want to welcome you guys to Brutal Planet Magazine.
Kevin from the Heavy Metal Shop. Welcome to Brutal Planet. Hello, Metalheads. My name is Patrick Johansson, known from Lions Hair and Asa North. Welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
Greetings, citizens of the planet, the Brutal Planet. We got a fantastic show for you today. The band Dirty Honey is going to be here in a few minutes. And Joey, man, you were right about them. They're fantastic. I listened to that record a couple times this morning, and it's top tier. Very good stuff.
Yeah, it's got more of that classic rock vibe to it, but it's like, it is top tier for sure.
I don't want to make anyone mad by saying this, but I feel like they're doing what Greta Van Fleet is trying to do, but it's like they sound like a Zeppelin or an Aerosmith, but it doesn't sound derivative at all. It sounds uniquely, like them, but it still sounds like classic rock.
It's authentic.
No disrespect to Greta Van Fleet, because they have some good stuff, but they're younger. So I think they wear their influences a lot more.
Sure.
And they'll evolve. They have evolved, but these guys have that like raw ass old school rock sound, but it doesn't. There's, like I said, there's nothing derivative about it. It's just good riffs, good songs.
Yeah, and I'll share when they hop on like how I heard them, but like it's always fun when you don't know anything about a band and then you hear them for the first time and they just blow you away.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than when a friend's like, hey, you have to check this band out or whatever.
Totally.
It's like, I discovered these guys, so it's kind of cool.
I'm pleasantly surprised by that a lot. Because we get a lot of requests from PR to check out bands and have them on the show and stuff. And a lot of times I'm just like, yeah, book them. And then I check their music out and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
A good example, that's this band Make My Blood Dance. I just interviewed.
Oh yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch that when you did that.
What they're doing is so cool. It's rock metal, but it's basically like if Panic at the Disco had a heavy guitar. It's really cool stuff. Anyway, should we show the Mythbusters thing before the guys come on, or should we?
I don't know if we have enough time. I was just going to share with you just a little memory.
Okay.
I don't know why. I was randomly going through like old stuff yesterday, and I found my like envelope with all my ticket stubs that I've kept from concerts over the years.
Nice.
So I'm like going through it. I'm like, I wonder if there's anything like, around this date. And I found this one. I wish I could show it, but it was Godsmack on the 4 tour. And I was chuckling at a lot of the ticket prices, like looking back and being like, $10 shows. When was this?
Those were the days.
But this one was at least under 40. But I remember this being a really cool show. It wasn't my first time seeing Godsmack. I think it was like second or third time maybe. But this is the one where I don't know if you know much about Godsmack or have ever seen them live, but when they did the drum battle. Have you ever seen that, like online or anything?
I know that we've talked about Shannon Larkin before, and he's a beast.
Oh, dude, you have to watch this. When it first came out, it blew everyone away, and they've done it for so many years now. It's not as big a deal, but when they first came out, like Shannon and Sully had these moving drum sets that came, and they faced each other, and Sully started out on the, little bongo kind of thing. They were doing this beat, and then they just faced off and they were doing this epic drum battle and stuff. But watching it live, and again, not expecting it, like no one ever said anything about this. It was just a really sweet concert, and that was November 3rd, 2006. So
Nice.
it's just kind of a cool memory to pop up out of nowhere for me. But
I feel like the best concerts have like drum circle elements. Like Slipknot is a very percussion based band. Like a lot of their stuff has like percussive, and it just makes it more tribal. There's something primitively like I talked about that Beats Antique show I went to a couple months in Portland. It was like electronica with like a drum circle with like live bongo drums, and it was just
really
like,
cool,
so amazing. But on the ticket stub note, I'm writing my review for, I don't know if you can see this or not, for Baroness.
Oh, I see the ticket. It's a little blurry. It's trying to focus. But
yeah, it's not the best. This camera, like the angle I'm at, is not the best. But
I miss getting the physical stubs. I still like it when I get one because it's usually just digital crap.
I save them when I get them.
Yeah.
And so this Baroness show was great. It was at a new venue in LA called the Bellwether that just opened in August.
Oh wow!
And, yeah, very, very cool venue, and I love it. I love to see it because the last time I saw Baroness a year or two ago, I think it was like 2 years ago now, they played at the Echoplex in Echo Park, and which is a much smaller venue, and they packed that place. And this place, it wasn't packed to the rafters, but they had it pretty filled up. And it's, I think it
is it like a 1,500 size venue?
I think it's 3,000.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, and it's such a good venue. Like the when you walk in, they've got this massive bar with like screens that show what's going on the stage, so you can like walk right in and get your beer, and then go into the show. And then they have like upstairs, they have this smoking patio with like couches and windows with a view of like the downtown area. It was a really cool venue.
That's cool.
And
that's right in LA.
Yeah, just a little bit outside of downtown on 3rd Street. Baroness killed it too. Like one of the opening bands I thought was really good. They have this doomy sludge band called Primitive Man, I think, that opened for them too. But Baroness killed it. They've just grown so much, and they were so on. They were fucking awesome.
Yeah, the show I went to last Tuesday night, Tool.
Oh,
that was
how was
really
that
good.
on Halloween?
Well, talking about like percussion, like Danny Carey.
Yeah.
Insane.
Again,
like,
yep. He does tabla. He uses tabla, which is like this Indian drumming
and just all the polyrhythms and stuff that he does. Like it's insane.
He is the Neil Peart of this generation. For sure.
It was a phenomenal show. And actually it surprised me the opening band, which I never paid attention to who was really opening or whatever. Steel Beans. Have you heard of this?
No.
All right. So when I saw him come out and actually start playing, it's just one dude. Then I remembered this random like reel I saw on Facebook or something where this guy, he plays the drums, the guitar, and sings all at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And I saved the reel, and I look back, I'm like, yeah, it's the same dude. So I saw him open up for Tool. Just one guy. It's kind of bizarre, but he does a really good job. But like as a photographer, we're told like you can shoot the first 3 songs. Well, how many shots can you get of one guy sitting behind a drum set? Like, so we all just shot one song and then left. But yeah, he was good, but it was just kind of a weird opening act for such a huge band,
Yeah, they curate that stuff though. We got John and Jaden on. She told me Justin, so let's bring them in. Hey guys, how you doing?
Cool too, though.
Or maybe he was talking about you, dude.
Maybe. Oh yeah.
He was talking about Tool. Oh shit, where'd they go?
No, it's cool. We're back.
Okay, we got you.
Power just went out.
They told me Justin and Jaden.
Oh man.
So we're gonna have to correct the card, but other than that, we're glad to have you guys on.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you for taking the time. We were just talking about. I listened to the album a couple times this morning, and incredible stuff, guys. It's rare that that I like a record on a first listen as much as I liked your new record, Can't Find the Brakes.
Oh wow! Well, thank you.
And it just came out today, right?
Today.
Yep.
Midnight, I guess.
It's awesome.
Beautiful.
Usually.
Well, I wanted to tell you guys my intro to Dirty Honey.
Okay.
This was October 8th, 2019. It was actually the first show that I was going to do photography for Brutal Planet. And I went to the show. It was Alter Bridge and Skillet. And this band I've never heard of, Dirty Honey, is opening act. And I was blown away at how good Dirty Honey was. And I wrote in my review, it was something along the lines of, like, this opening band was so amazing. They'll be headlining their own shows soon. And the publicist wrote back like a day or two later or something and said, that must be prophetic because, you know, this isn't even public yet, but you guys are going to be headlining a show within a couple months or whatever. So it was just really cool to have like this intro to Dirty Honey. Never heard of you guys before, and then just blew me away live. So that was really cool.
Thank you. Yeah. It was, it was definitely a whirlwind experience back then, for sure. I remember we did do our first headlining shows right after that run with Alter Bridge.
Yeah.
And I remember being unsure. We did like a tester 2-week run in just the West, like Phoenix and California and stuff.
Okay. Yep.
And every room we sold out pretty much.
Yeah.
So
I think you guys are you're that type of band live. Like you grab people and they're in, like, automatic fan. It doesn't even matter if that's not really your genre or whatever. Like it's you guys got the hooks and the riffs to just grab people and you can't help but be a fan.
Oh yeah. Thank
cool.
you.
Sorry, I'm fanboying out right now.
No, fanboy on, dude.
So I like to ask for the band's origin story, and you can tell it however you want, as short or as long as you want. But tell us how the band came about.
I always try to. It's always a challenge to try to be as short as I can. So here we go. Let's see how this goes.
We like long form.
Mark and I met first. He had like a cover band thing, and he also had some of his originals that I think he had written in like high school or something. And then we sputtered around for like a year with that particular group of guys, and then it kind of splintered off. Guys took off in different directions, and then we got Justin. And then maybe there was another year or so where we were trying to make demos and we were writing songs further. When I'm Gone was born then, although it wasn't titled that. And then in 2017, we got Corey. He was kind of like the first really good drummer. Actually, every drummer, including Jaden, who played cover gigs with us, was all really great drummers. It's Los Angeles. The challenge was always to find 4 guys who kind of wanted to do this instead of go make good money on a big gig, because it's very available and in your face in that town. And so it was hard to keep people. And I mean, I was dabbling in it myself. It's just not to say that I was above it, but yeah. So in 2017, we got Corey, and he was kind of the first guy I was like, yo, I'll do it. So it took about 6 months, but we did a recording at a professional studio, which was, I kind of think, the first time we really did that in that level of studio. And then we did some videos at Capitol Records, and Mark, our singer, reached out to some people that he thought could help us, and we got some showcases together, and then we got a professional demo made of When I'm Gone. This was all about summer 2018, and then that got the attention of longtime friend of specifically of Mark, but I had met him before, and he had seen us in our cover band days. Our now manager, Mark Dadia. So once he heard When I'm Gone in a professional way, he was really, his whole vibe with us changed. He used to make fun of us kind of, just for being like a cover band kind of thing. Like even when we played originals for him, we have this battle with him. He saw us once and he said we only played covers, and actually we only played originals. But he's a ball buster that way. We love him for it. But yeah, once he heard When I'm Gone, his whole attitude changed, and I realized how we got the other side of Mark Dadia. We got the side that he's has his reputation for. He put the full weight of his belief into the band, and then that, you know, got us to get writing more, and then we wrote the EP and we went and recorded it, and that was fall of 2018, and we did our first shows opening for Slash, and then we did spring of 2019, as the album came out, we did our first national tour opening for a band that was basically on its way out. It was like the boot camp tour, we called it. That was tough, man. It was like humble beginnings, man. Like, I think the band guarantee was $250 a night. Like, pretty much impossible to break even. If any band could do it, honestly, it was us. The logo T-shirt and our merch sold exceptionally well for an unheard of band. So it really did help, you know, ease the pain of that tour. And then I think after that, it's history. You know, we went on tour with Slash in the summer, and we did summer festivals, those Danny Wimmer festivals, and then that fall we did Alter Bridge tour, and at the same time, When I'm Gone went number 1. And then right after that, we did the 2-week tour to test out headlining, and then winter 2020, we did our first full-on national headline tour. It did excellent. It was called the Rolling Sevens tour. And then pandemic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dark time in our history.
Yeah. So that's kind of the fastest maybe I've ever told our origin story.
Did you guys form in LA? Are you guys from LA originally?
No, the only one from LA proper is Justin.
Okay.
Corey's from Portland. Jaden is from Utah. Portland.
Where I'm from.
I'm from Maine, and Mark is from basically Albany, New York.
Oh wow.
Where in Utah?
Salt Lake.
Salt Lake. Okay. I grew up in Orem, Provo.
Nice. Yeah, it was like really bountiful area mainly where I was.
Okay.
I lived in North Salt Lake. Went to like Woods Cross.
Gotcha.
Bountiful sounds like a description.
Yeah.
Bountiful. Yeah. A bountiful harvest.
It's hilarious.
Joey, you got some stuff I know to ask these guys.
Well, yeah, I was just wondering, like,
go ahead.
You guys have been, you know, a band now for about 5 years or so, and almost 6 or whatever. What have been the highs and the lows?
Well, for sure the lows was
of reaching your success here.
Yeah, for sure the lows was the pandemic. I mean, the timing. There's no good timing for the world to stop working.
Right.
But for us, we were so excited for 2020. We had Download Japan lined up. We had our first UK tour lined up, which was also included Download Fest, and we had Byron Bay Blues Fest. We had Australia dates. We had a whole US festivals run.
Wow.
I mean, we basically had a full calendar for 2020, including making another EP. It would have been an EP. So I suppose the one plus, which we really tried to lean into, was we had more time to write more music. I would say maybe, I don't know if this is an accurate thing to say, but maybe comparatively to other bands, we're a little slower to write songs maybe. So especially when, you know, our newfound life was that we were just always on the road and tired.
Right.
That did give us extra time. So when we went in to record the Cream album, we had about 12 ideas. Obviously, we released 8 of them. But that was the low. I mean, you know, I went from like, oh, this will be 2 weeks to a month. And then after a while, I was like, bullshit. Like, this is going to take forever. I know how this works. The fear is just going to grip the world, and we're not coming back for a while.
Yeah.
And then there was like real actual depression. I mean, like,
sure.
I was just like, am I meant to do this? Like, what is this? Like, you know, I had already had enough of being in the trenches as a musician, you know, in a sense. And so it was like, obviously the highs has been post-pandemic, I think. Obviously the first high was going number 1. I mean, that was a pinch me moment, and I felt like,
and unsigned too. I mean, like, you guys,
the unsigned thing for me, I felt like that really gave us a press point, which I felt like maybe we were lacking. because everyone was in the beginning was saying like, here comes the band after Greta Van Fleet. And I was like, well, in my mind, I was like, that can't be our story. We can't be the next, we can't be the other guys after them. They had a story. They were like 17 years old, signed, triplets, basically, twins and a brother. So I was like, and, uncannily sounds like Led Zeppelin in a good way. Like it's like kind of incredible. So I was like, what's ours? We're LA guys, we're great musicians, come from like a sideman background or whatever. But I think going number one without the label gave us a really cool story. It was something buzzworthy. And so that was a high point. And I think a lot of the other high points have been post-pandemic. Some of the going to Europe and having the reception we had and playing stadiums for the first time with Guns N' Roses. And then for me, doing the American Arena Guns N' Roses. And I think another high point was honestly, kind of a combination low point, high point, Corey deciding to exit, but then, a longtime friend like Jaden being able to actually join, and, kind of put aside what he was doing and be down to do it. And I think that was exactly what the new record needed, to be honest, with some fresh energy. And the right energy.
Well, that transitions right into my next question, because I was not aware that Corey had left when he did, and then all of a sudden there's Jaden, and I'm like, what happened here?
I'm like, it's all good.
we were like, you thought that guy was redhead. Hold on.
Wait a minute. We got the pink face freckle.
Yeah. No, it was just weird because it wasn't. I never heard it, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, Corey's gone, Jaden's in, and it's like, well, maybe there's a talking point here, but
I think we elected to make it not a talking point. Not to say we were unsure about Jaden, but in the very beginning, it was just like, can you do this tour with us?
Yeah. It's all within a few weeks.
So fast.
Yeah.
We weren't like, join the band, here's the paperwork. We were like, we're going on tour in Europe in 2 weeks, and it's a well-sold tour. We need you to cover. And he was down, and then it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
I think that sealed the deal, of course. But
well, and to my understanding,
I think we felt like maybe it was easier to not make a big deal about it at the stage we're at. As much headlines as we've had, we also felt like we're still, it wouldn't be like if someone left Greta right now or something, or somebody left, a bigger band than them. I think we felt like we benefited from our level to not make it a big thing.
Now, Jaden, to my understanding, you were jamming with these guys before they became Dirty Honey too, right?
Yeah. I mean,
we, like John was mentioning, we had done tons of cover gigs, and we had recorded a few demos and all that, and just.
And we used to live together.
Being roommates, we've recorded plenty of other things as well. There's so much history between the four of us that it was
I apologize if I missed something. My internet literally cut out before when you guys were talking, so
no worries.
I had missed 30 seconds of discussion there, but
no worries.
No, we got it all.
Okay.
Sick.
Where did you guys get your name from? I'm curious about the origins of that. Is there like a cool story behind it, or is it just kind of one of those things that?
Mark came up with it actually, and it was. I actually don't remember this, but it was thrown around in a longer list of names when we were trying to get out of our other names. I didn't see it, and then I think he just had the presence of mind to bring it back around again later. And that time we were all like, oh, that's cool. And it just kind of everybody within our circle thought it was cool, like our family and friends. And I think they were kind of like, that's kind of the first cool name you've come up with. And so.
Well, the name and the logo, I mean, it's great.
The logo was, I mean, I think that was all part of just the synchronicity and the kismet feeling of the beginning of the band. That was a guy who continues to do stuff for us. And he came up with that, and I was immediately, we were just like, oh, that's a tattoo. I mean, that's just a perfect logo. So yeah.
That's really cool. So your first full length, you guys recorded over Zoom because of the pandemic.
Yep.
This time you recorded in studio, and from what I read, it was over a month time.
It was about a month, yeah.
Okay. How was that experience versus recording over Zoom?
Well, it's obviously better.
Well, I would imagine, yeah.
There was a lot of things that made the Zoom record, the pandemic record, not as full experience. For me personally, It wasn't so much that he wasn't in the room. It was the short amount of time we had in the studio.
Okay.
We had like 12 songs in 6 days. So it really felt like a recording, almost felt like, even though it was my band, it kind of reminded me of days when I was on other people's records, and it was about like efficiency and getting it done and doing a take, and you're kind of being paid. It felt like that, and it was a bit of a bummer because I was like, this is my record, you know. So it felt a lot more like we had to make all of our decisions in our rehearsals, sending files back and forth to Nick.
Yeah.
And we already knew what a bummer it was because we had previously done the EP in Australia. So we had already been to Australia. That's all we knew with Nick. So we already knew that this was like, you know, a step back. Like Rolling Stones and When I'm Gone, those were recorded in us, you know, down the road.
Okay.
That was all done in Australia. So it was really just the pandemic record wasn't.
But to tell your grandkids someday that you recorded during the pandemic over Zoom, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. There's actually the software that actually made it all work is this software called Listen To, which actually is a plugin on Pro Tools, and it sends a no lag feed to through Pro Tools to anyone. So Nick was in his studio listening to a feed of what we're doing. The Zoom was actually just visual, like, hey, like this. But he was listening through that program.
Oh, wow.
So that actually is, and then also all the talkbacks. So in my cans and, you know, hearing him and I could see him, he was pretty much there. But it's still limited because he's not in the room to be able to, you know, grab a pedal or, you know, think of something and, you know, and just the whole squash timing of it really made it feel more like a business.
Sure.
So when we went back, he had a new studio. When we went back, it was playtime again. We had more time than we've ever had. So I think we definitely benefited from that extra playtime.
Were there like latency issues when you're recording remote? Did you guys have any problems with it, like being behind for someone or anything like that?
Well, again, we weren't recording remote. The only thing that was happening remote was communicating with Nick, and we were recording in Henson, and he used his basically his protege who replaced him when he left working under Brendan O'Brien. He used that new engineer who works with Brendan. So he kind of had his man on the ground kind of thing, you know, a guy named Tom Sorowski. So Tom's done a lot of big records with Brendan. So he was in the room manning all the buttons, and he has Nick's trust. And we also had some of Brendan's guitars and stuff. So he has a lockout in Henson where we did it. So again, it's not, it's almost like Nick really was there to just listen and oversee. He wasn't actually recording it, you know. He was then given all the files to mix it, but
you guys did recording on your own.
It is a fun soundbite to say we recorded it over Zoom, but I'm here to pop everyone's fun bubble. Maybe I should shut up and just be like, yeah, dude, it was crazy, man. I had to get used to
No.
late.
We love to dispel myths. We're here to
That's
dispel
how good
myths.
we are, man.
Better to dispel the myth.
Right. Or like in the wise words of David Lee Roth, who am I to get in the way of a good rumor?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that side of it too.
Yeah.
So the new album, the cover art is really cool. I don't know if you want to share the story behind that, but that's kind of.
Why don't you do it, Jaden?
Yeah, because Risk is my dude. I mean,
He
I
actually
had
knew about
never met him before this moment, but I was a big fan of him since I was a teenager. He's a OG LA graffiti artist, and we were playing a show in LA for a private group of people, and he was there and had just, I guess, between the person who asked us to do the show and him, they had given us some gifts of our logo, custom 5 or 6 different versions for everyone in the band. Risk did this art piece for us, and also brought a big old, what was it?
It's like a big
neon sign.
Yeah,
it
kind
was
of retro neon light.
A real neon sign of the Dirty Honey logo.
Wow.
With the artwork behind it, and we just kind of all fell in love with what he did, and asked him to do the album, and he did, every piece of the vinyl, at least that's out there right now, is a big canvas that he spray painted and did in his studio, all separate pieces. So pretty rad to have a legend like that, honestly, to do your artwork.
I'm a huge fan of graffiti art too. I used to follow this website called Art Crimes.
Yeah,
and they just
I remember
post
that.
like, yeah. And if I see stuff around the city, I'll stop and take photos of it and stuff. Some of those artists are just phenomenal.
Yeah, Risk is a legend, and he's also, look at, say hello.
Singer's trying to sneak out.
He's also done other famous bands, records and artwork for plenty of big bands. So he's in the scene outside of the graffiti art.
He's a great artist.
Absolutely.
And it's another moment where we took a risk, no pun intended, because we really didn't have a second option in a sense, or time, and we just were like, do this, and if we didn't like it, I don't know what the arrangement was, but he did a lot of work. Like he just like you were saying, he painted it like full size. Like how big was that actual album cover? Is like,
it's probably like 4x5 or something.
Yeah.
They're
and then we just took a picture of a high quality photo.
Each part of it, like the front covers a different 4x5 canvas, the back covers a different one, all the inserts are different ones.
Oh wow.
So if we didn't like it, I assume we would still have owed him money. I don't even know, but it's just, he did a lot of work, so it was, again, another instance where, much like the original logo, where it's like we didn't necessarily shop it to, we didn't have the luxury of being on a label and having them waste a bunch of money shopping it to 30 great artists or something like that,
Yeah,
Hey, this guy's great. Let's give it a shot. We already like this thing he did. And then it's like, we did. Hello.
And he's a rad dude.
All right, shut the door. Thank you.
He's a rad.
Can you guys use any of those pieces like on stage or anything like that? They're like 4x5 feet.
I don't know.
He's got them.
He's got them.
Or did he have them?
Yeah, it's hard. I don't know where the things he actually painted are. One thing that he's doing right now that it might be completed now is we have been posting about it. I don't know if you saw it, but he hand, like he does everything. He hand painted 10 custom covers for the album.
Oh, wow.
And it's kind of a treasure hunt. They're in record stores around the country.
Oh, cool.
And it's like, you win some tickets if you find them and post about it. So pretty rad.
That's
Like they're
cool.
alternate. They're like one of a kind.
Yeah.
They'll be valuable
Hopefully.
collector's items.
Yeah, somebody's going to get them.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get them. I'm going to get one of them.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to sell it.
It's like Willy Wonka, right? Like
This one's
the golden ticket.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we got you guys for a few more minutes. Are there any like shows you have coming up that you're looking forward to? You obviously have a tour booked, a lot of dates. And the album's out today, so everyone should go listen to it. Any dates coming up that you guys are looking forward to, or anything on the horizon that we should know about?
I'm definitely looking forward to St. Andrews. I love Detroit. We got peeps in Detroit, and they won't be there, but
LA is obviously going to be a good one.
Yeah,
I'll be there. Belasco, right?
Yeah,
Belasco, yeah. And that's nice. We also have like a 4-day break then, so it'll be nice to get home and relax, see my pup.
I'm super bummed. I'm going to be missing the show here in Minneapolis. I'll be out of state for work. So when I saw the tour, I'm like, dang it! Why did it have to be that weekend?
You know, you should bug the radio guy there. He never plays us.
Oh, really?
I think so. They were one of the holdouts. But when we played Minneapolis, we played a small place, but it was full and it was great.
Well, I think that's probably where I saw you. It's like 5 minutes from my house. Yeah.
Yeah. Right down the street from that kind of legendary sit-in spot, Bunkers. The Bunkers Jam. Anyway.
Not that legendary.
Not that legendary. My bad.
I just moved here like 6 years ago, but.
Yeah.
I forgot that's where Prince is from too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole First Avenue thing, you can. There's a lot of, and that's why we did that Prince cover, was because that was actually the TNT's idea, because they wanted to do Prince because they were doing that game in Minneapolis. So So our whole creative role in it was simply doing our version of it, so there wasn't just because it would be weird if we did like Let's Go Crazy like the way Prince does it.
It's never going to be as good either. So.
Yeah.
Programming and stuff in that song, it's like
can't redo it that way. So
you got to dirty it up a little.
Yeah.
I'm proud of what we did for sure.
Well, I'm just super stoked for you guys. I'm really happy about your success, especially how fast everything's been going since the pandemic and stuff. And I just really wish you guys the best. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Any good luck term is well accepted.
One last question. If you guys want to offer anything up, what are you listening to right now?
What am I listening to? What are we listening to? Well, we just gotta try. I know I'm such an old head, dude. Someone was like, "What's your favorite new record?" And I was like, "New record?" I was like,
this year we're like, what?
I was like, I'm most pumped that I just bought. There's a great store here in Baltimore. I just bought like a stack of like 20 records, and I think the newest one is like from the 80s, maybe. Like it's all 70s. But we've been jamming to like funk playlists and like soul R&B playlists before the show. Mostly because Jaden Bogart's my JBL Charge 5 and plays it for years. But I love funk, so I'm in.
Yeah, it's just awesome. We like warming up to music rather than sitting there like with a metronome or running through scales. We just kind of throw on stuff and vibe out.
I'm super glad you're willing to do that, because some drummers are like, nope, it's got to be the metronome, and then the rest of us are just like, you know what? A drummer's like, deep, 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 deep. We're like, dude, we're trying to go play rock and roll.
Yeah.
Most of my favorite drummers can't play in time anyway.
You guys play to a click when you play live?
Why are you going to use one to warm up?
Yeah, right.
So you don't use? Do you guys use a click live?
No.
Okay.
We didn't even record most of the songs on the record to a click. Most of
That's awesome.
I'm really proud of that from an ego standpoint, but more so that the ones, I mean, maybe he could tell because he's got that kind of ear.
I can tell.
But yeah, I mean, drummers will, but good ones. But I'm proud that like I don't hear it. You know what I mean? Like on the songs we didn't use the click. It doesn't stick out to me because the emotion of the song is greater because we put it in there. So
and we got good collective time.
Yeah, I mean we're cats who can play with the metronome or without, and so I'm happy we are getting away from it because I actually think it's more on brand. You know, it's the same as me using, 2 half stacks and blending tones and bringing that whole thing out because it's part of what we're offering, you know. I actually just did this demo for Universal Audio, and it's like a whole half stack in a box, and they did a great job. And people are like, "Are you going to use that now?" And I'm like, "No." Like, you know, I'll use it at home because I can't plug that stuff in my bedroom, and it's a great replacement for that. But like I even told them, I was like, "Look, my brand is this. Like, we push air on stage, you know, and I think grooving together is part of the sound too. It's part of the feel. If we get a little excited, the song ends a little faster, all good, you know?
Yeah.
As long as
it's all just energy.
We're good enough that none of that stuff's going to be out of control in an amateur sense.
I love that.
Stuff is so overproduced now too.
Yeah.
It's
so
refreshing.
People, and I'm not calling anyone out, but people don't realize these big production records, dude. It's like you're hearing everything's computer moved to the grid. It's replaced with sounds that producer always puts on every record.
Yep.
You know, it's not one guitar. Even if it's one part, it's two. It's layered. You know, and I get it. Listeners love it.
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff's going live too. Tracks.
Yeah.
We should probably get off.
Anyway, well, thank you guys for your time. I just had this conversation with this girl from this band Svalbard, and she said something that I thought was interesting because she goes, "I just saw Metallica and Bring Me the Horizon at Download," and she's like, and some of the discourse on Twitter afterwards was like, Metallica sounded like shit, but Bring Me the Horizon sounded great. She's like, yeah, but they're using backing tracks, and my fear is that people are going to start holding live bands to the standard of processed backing tracks.
Oh,
and of course they're going to sound better.
They absolutely are.
I think part of it is a lot of those bands, you have to kind of live up to the sound on your record.
Yeah.
And a lot of those bands are so edited on their record, so live, they have to measure up to it.
Right.
We don't edit anything, so.
Well, that's what I appreciate.
Like, our record, which is what is going to be heard. You know, better and more energetic or whatever.
It's real talent. You're not having to rely on computers to make good music and stuff.
Yeah.
And if something goes wrong, you can play it.
Yeah. The sad part is maybe some of those bands could even do that in terms of talent level. They're like, well, this is what sells, so let's do that.
Right.
You know, this feel of super grid and also, you know, punchy, you know, no room mics, which would make it sound like you're hearing a live band. That's all ixnayed from the process because that's what's going around, you know, and it's a risk in a way on our part to offer this kind of older sounding product. One thing I'm proud of is I think we straddle the line a little bit. It's not like a direct, like, we're going to make this sounding, you know, the drum kit doesn't sound exactly like
never is going to
old stuff, you know, and the guitars are not that way. So I do think we straddle that line. But those bands who grid everything and quantize everything and sound replace, they're actually just setting themselves up, to where it's like they have to do it live because how could you measure up to that unless you're the top session guys in the world? Then they're not. No one in bands is. We aren't either. But like,
it gets
and the other
boring
thing too is I think we're the type of players where I actually think we probably do, from an energy standpoint, better versions of all of our songs live. I think what we capture on record is usually especially this record, I think we captured magic. But we're always pretty new to our material on records. That's been our track record so far. We're not recording stuff that's like road tested. So for us, in 6 months, we're like, oh, I wish we recorded it now.
You're kind of like learning the nuance on the road.
Totally, yeah. It's like a new girlfriend at the time that we're recording it. We still like, do you like flowers? Oh, no, flowers aren't your thing. Never mind.
Yeah.
So,
also, we just also like kind of switching it up every night, too. That's one thing that some fans have told us is they come to our shows, so many of them, because it's a little different every time. They're like, they actually recognize the nuances that happen each time. So
it's really cool to hear, you know, it's like different every night, but not jam band.
Yeah.
You know, there's little swag things that everyone kind of does. in their little moments. That's just, oh, that wasn't the same as last night, but it got the same feeling, you know.
That's cool.
That's how Zeppelin pulled it off too. Like Page would layer so many different guitar parts on top of each other. I feel like he had like 4 different parts he could play at any given section of a song. So it's like they could mix it up like that in a live environment.
Yeah, it was sort of the magic of compositing them. A big hero, actually, strangely for me, has become, well, Van Halen. Not the tappy and all that stuff. I'm not a master of that at all, but the rhythm stuff, man, like him and Malcolm Young, I think, are really kind of my guideposts for how to hold this thing down without a second guitar. You know, and it's him especially because he's jumping into Angus mode and then jumping back into Malcolm mode, which I don't know is that Jimmy Page did that as rhythmically tight, but he did it in his own sort of brush strokes.
Yeah.
He's like an artsy painter kind of guy. He pulled it off, and
he was those guys too.
So him live is like how I thought guitar playing should be as a kid.
Songwriting too is what
crazy start.
Songwriting is what separates guys like Van Halen from like the Yngwies of the world too. You know,
100%.
Yeah, it's whether you can play guitar that people actually like or not.
Yeah. Can you get out of the guitar world appreciation of what you're doing? You know, it's like he's the king of that insular world. And look, I wouldn't want to. I might. I don't know. Yeah, maybe
do a solo battle.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
Well, you guys definitely have great songs. And the energy is what's important. Like you were saying, it's like being on the grid these days just makes everything sounds. There's so many new bands I hear that I'm like, okay, I've heard this straightforward computerized rhythm before. So it is refreshing to hear real live energy that breathes in a song.
Yeah. There's
definitely
a lot of that.
As far as the funk goes, I got to dig a little bit in on that because I listen to a lot of funk. I've been on a huge James Brown kick lately and really getting into Billy Preston's discography.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh man, I mean, we everything from
Meters.
Meters was like the Meters greatest hits was like the first front to back guitar parts I learned when I was
wow.
Teenager. Yeah, I was like. It had this cool, like, New Orleans has this cool slop to it that's inimitable. You know, I certainly didn't master it, but it's in the pocket, you know, in a way that only they can do. I mean, dude, Tower of Power, Sly Stone, James Brown, the instrumental Herbie stuff was really crucial, like Headhunters.
Did you ever get into Mandrill?
Was that?
Mandrill?
I never got into that.
No.
Oh, you got to check out some Mandrill.
Okay.
There's so many good bands from that era that are like just under the radar too.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude,
you got George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic. You
course,
got huge names that are still yet to be mentioned.
And George Clinton has like two, because you've got Funkadelic, which is like more like psych rock, and Eddie Hazel, I think is his name. That whole thing is amazing. And then he's got Parliament, which is like funk rock supreme, more like groove oriented. But dude, people don't realize like Prince is one of the baddest funk guitar players on earth. He gets a lot of credit for being able to solo like Hendrix, which is also amazing. But all that guitar playing is all him.
He's like one of the most underrated guitar
tight,
players.
Like direct sound, it's incredible. So he's a huge. I mean, all that stuff. I mean,
I love Prince.
Shogi Otis, dude.
Shuggy Otis. That's the one I haven't listened to much of either.
Yeah.
I've been in the James Brown wormhole lately though. Like that guy I watched a documentary on him that blew my mind. He's one of the first black guys to own a private jet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was legendary. Yeah.
I also love watching the interview.
Yeah.
Anything from James Brown, anything 68 to like 76.
Yes.
It's just textbook. He was writing.
He got a little cornball after that in the 80s, but
yeah, he was trying to make money. They all did it, but it was that living in America.
Rocky IV. I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, look, good on him, man. That was a hit. So
Yeah.
he did it.
He stayed relevant.
Yep.
Well, guys, we might hopefully we didn't go over your time, but we've been on for about 40 minutes now, 45 minutes.
Well, we did, but it was enjoyable. So thanks.
Awesome. No,
Great.
man, again, can't say enough good things about the record and the music. It came out today, so everyone should check it out. Excited to see you guys on tour. Thank you so much for your time today. And please come back through and talk to us again when you guys have something.
Love to anytime, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Have a good day.
Dirty Honey, take care of yourselves, guys. We'll see you out there.
Cheers.
Man, another band that like it's so cool to do these interviews because you hear the music and you're like, wow, this is great, and then you meet the people and it makes it even cooler, right?
They're just fun guys.
Yeah.
Talking with some of them though, I don't know their ages, but man, I feel and look old.
Yeah, me too.
Like I'm sitting here with
a
graying beard, and they're just like all young and hip. And
yeah, but also when you're in a rock band, it's like you care a little bit more about your image. So even if you have this, you like clean shave and dye your hair and stuff.
Sure. I'm just a dad that drives my kids to school. So
like, did you know Maynard James Keenan will be 60 years old next year?
Well, I saw that when I was looking stuff up.
Yeah, that's crazy. He doesn't look it at all.
No. Well, it's because he still wears a mohawk and stuff, but
right, or he shaves his head.
Yeah,
and he eats clean and grows his own food, so he's like like he's not wrinkle faced. And
Eric warned me though. He's like, when you're doing photography for Tool, he's like, Maynard's gonna just hang out in the back in the shadows. It's gonna be real hard to shoot, and it was challenging, but it was such a cool band to see live.
Dude, but that's always been their thing too, because they like I loved that about Tool so much. Like when they first came out, when the video for Sober came out, you didn't see them. No one knew what they looked like. It was kind of like Slipknot, but even way more mysterious because no one saw Tool. They were not like, hey, look, we're rock stars. They're like, no, it's the music speaks.
Yeah.
And so Maynard being like hidden on the stage, to me, like it totally.
Well, and they were even more hidden because it was Halloween, so they all came out with like these Groucho Marx glasses and mustaches. So it was just kind of funny.
They've always been a band that's like, dude, they're serious, but they have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like, so you may or may not know about this, but if you don't know about this, this will blow your mind. Do you know about lacrimology? Have you heard about this? Okay. In the 90s, Tool invented a fake religion called lacrimology and totally like put it out there. And basically it's like it's about finding spirituality through crying and through the I can't remember the lacrima ducts on your and I thought it was a real thing for years until recently I found out it was Tool's troll move.
Wow.
They're like, oh, lacrimology and the art of crying. They were totally just making fun of New Age, like philosophy. Yeah, and that was like before the internet too. Like they came up with that shit. Well, it was early days of the internet, like late 90s, but yeah, they're Maynard James Keenan. I've read books based on Tool's reading list recommendations and stuff. Like they've always been a band that I've held to on a pedestal, and like always been a band that valued like intellectualism and like thinking beyond just what's in front of your face and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure me and Maynard don't agree on theological issues, but just musicianship, like Tool is just top notch.
Yeah, but I'm sure you'd agree on a lot of other stuff because he's a very conservative minded guy. If you've ever listened to him on like Joe Rogan or any of the stuff he talks about.
I heard clips of that, but yeah, I should listen to the whole thing.
He's a good dude. He's military too. He used to be in the military.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So he's really experienced.
And now he makes wine and has a restaurant in Jerome, Arizona.
Where I love that when bands when musicians are doing other things, but they're not like taken away from the music. I think they're enhancing it by like getting this knowledge and experience and all sorts of different things. It makes you a better artist. And I think that, I mean, it's evident when you watch them live. It was just like, wow, these guys really not only know music, but know art.
Here's another little bit of trivia for you. The guitarist for Tool, Adam Jones, used to work in Hollywood as an effects guy, and he worked on shows I used to watch as a kid. When I was a kid, Fox had this horror block of TV shows. They had Freddy's Nightmares, Friday the 13th, the series, and Monsters, a show called Monsters. And I would religiously watch all these. Turns out Adam Jones was like an effects guy on the show Monsters.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's where part of the Tool's, artistic aesthetic comes in their videos and stuff. But.
Yeah, I mean the lights were incredible. I mean, I've seen good lights and stuff in shows before, but this was like another level.
Tool's shows are like almost like a spiritual experience. Like they're so good. When I saw them in Salt Lake, I wasn't on any drugs. I was like totally sober, and it felt like I was like on acid. Oh, did you just freeze on me?
Mine is freezing. I don't know.
Just your screen froze a little bit.
Okay, I don't know if the kids are playing internet games or something downstairs.
Well, we got the important part out of the way. So should we do our? Do you want to share some news items?
Yeah. Well, I had the one. Well, I wanted to share my memory because it's November 3rd now, but I found this a week or two ago. Have you ever been Rickrolled, Dustin?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my kids are really into doing that. But I found this article, and it says, when Rick Astley sang the line, "A full commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy." He was talking about an offer made by none other than Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, wow.
The 80s pop star revealed during a recent conversation with Classic Rock magazine that the Prince of Darkness actually made him a tempting offer to recruit a backing band for the singer at the height of his pop heyday. According to the singer, the offer came during his first trip to the U.S. after the success of his debut album. And during that tour, he actually crossed paths with the Osbournes. He said, "Are you over here playing?" And I said, "No, we're just doing a promo," Astley recalled, and then went, "If you want to put a band together, let me know. I've worked with all the greats." And I knew he had. He'd worked with some of the best guitar players on that planet. Osbourne's wife, Sharon, was sitting nearby at the time, and according to Astley, she quickly intervened. Sharon just leaned over and said, "Will you shut up? He doesn't want to play with your long-haired, tattooed monsters." I was gobsmacked. The fact that he recognized me for one thing, but also because he thought he could put together the appropriate band for me to go out and play Never Gonna Give You Up. What a lovely man for doing it.
That sounds exactly like something Sharon would say too. That's so in character for her.
I just thought it was funny. I mean, you hear this, Never Gonna Give You Up or whatever, and who knew that a line in that song might be talking about Ozzy Osbourne.
So I come from the old school internet days, and that was a big one. But have you ever heard of lemonparty.org?
It sounds vaguely familiar.
Don't ever go to that site. But we used to blind link people to that, and it's just a picture of like 3 old men having sex.
Oh,
it's really
okay.
Gross.
Yeah, when I was in school, it was like White House or something, and
or like the Goatsy. Do you remember the Goatsy? The guy like pulling his butthole open. Okay, see, I come from a very dark part of the internet.
Yeah, I was a good boy.
But Rickroll was like the the mainstream version of all those like.
Oh, okay.
Hey, check this out. I said that. I remember my brother like won't click links I send him anymore because I sent him lemonparty.org one time. And I've heard like Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy mention lemonparty.org before. So that's like, it definitely has, some memories in the minds of many, but so does Rickroll. So and I guess that's the point I was trying to make.
It's just funny that, this stupid song's really coming back with the younger kids, and some of the reels are clever, I kind of have a feeling there's going to be a Rickroll at the end, but just getting there it's kind of fun to see some of the reels.
So when you said kids, you just reminded me, I just bought a ticket to see my son play in the Battle of the Bands tonight. And guess what they're playing? One of the songs. They're playing a couple songs, but the main song they're playing?
Never Gonna Give You Up.
No. Close, though. Close. Memphis Will Be Laid to Waste.
I think you did tell me that they were practicing that one.
Yeah. They're going to play that tonight, so it'll be interesting. My son's actually playing bass this time. He played guitar last year, but he was like his bass player from last year is singing. They have a new drummer. He's playing bass, and they have a new guitarist.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm proud of him. Like they're the band. They won first place last year, and the drummer that they were playing with is super good. But he's like one of those drummers he's very like micromanagey, and he'll be like, here's a new song, and they're like, yo, dude, like we got to like write riffs and put a song together. So they kind of split off with that dude, and now they have a guy that plays more for the song. So we'll see how it goes. But
well, if they win, we should have your son on, and we should interview him, ask how things went, the experience of doing it, and all that. That'd be fun.
That's actually a good idea, because straight up, they did an interview that they're editing right now with a local band called Torian, I think. That's a hardcore band.
Okay.
Because I told them, I was like, they're like, hey, could we interview this band on behalf of Brutal Planet? I was like, of course.
Yeah.
You know, they were like, will you message them through Instagram? Like, you guys can message them through our Instagram if you want and everything. But they did the interview, they filmed it and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
And they're editing it. So I told them, I was like, yo, if you guys want to cover the local scene in LA for Brutal Planet, have at it. Like, I would love that.
Can have like a little leg just covering LA.
Yeah, we can even
bands.
make another channel just for them or something, or like have a playlist of just local stuff or whatever. But I really see the future with us being in that realm where because we have people all over the country, you know. So like you could cover local bands in Minnesota. We could cover local scene bands here. We got Homeboy in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Eric in Salt Lake. I have some friends in Portland I'd like to get active. I mean, we'll see if that works. But, you know, I see that like long term branching out in that direction anyway.
It's awesome.
So I have one clip before we log off that I wanted to share. And this is metal related. So I'm going to change our view a little bit. But here we go. I'm going to start this over. So this is from, and actually the reason I pulled this clip is I talked to Nikki Stringfield about it a while back. And I went, you know what? We should cover that on the show. So basically, to set this up, Mythbusters did this bit where they experimented with plants and like whether or not talking to plants or playing music for them helps them grow. And that's where the metal part comes in. So I'm just gonna play this, and then we can comment. It's about 3-minute clip.
You know what I'd like to try is.
It's actually probably good we're doing this at the end, because that way, if our stream gets cut off for copyright, you know, we already CDs. Like they didn't have streaming back then or MP3s.
Well, and what does he mean by cajoling?
That's a good question. I mean, maybe moving the pots around, moving the plants around a little bit. I'm guessing. It's
okay. I don't know if they mentioned it in the episode there, but I would love to know the playlist.
Yeah.
Like what bands did they play for that? You know, what CDs were in rotation or whatever.
Totally. Because the background, the like stock music they played was pretty heavy. There's like a lot of double kick in it. It was that grid music we were just talking about.
Now, what's funny, I read a book. It was like put out by these like super conservative Christians. It was like about the dangers of rock and roll or whatever. And I read it. I read it partly because I just wanted to see what they said, and partly because I wanted to laugh. But they were saying the opposite. Like there was studies done like in the 80s or whatever, and the classical music helped the plants grow healthier and better than the metal. So I don't know if they had an agenda or what, but there you go.
I think their study was funded by
probably
big classical or something. Classical music industry.
Yeah. I mean, I listen to metal and I keep growing, so it must work.
Yeah. I mean, the more I think about it, like people who listen to a lot of metal are usually big dudes.
It works.
So it makes sense.
I tell my kids, hey, you want to grow faster, just listen to metal.
Eat your veggies and listen to your Metallica.
Yep.
Like it reminds me of I think about this a lot. When I was a kid, I was a big Hulk Hogan fan, like in the early 80s. Like when I was really little, I had like the Hulkamania workout set, and he would always say, say your prayers and eat your vitamins. And that's kind of what it makes me think about. You know, it's like
he was onto something.
He was. I mean, look at Hulk Hogan. That guy is like pushing 80, and he was just on like Theo Vaughn and a bunch of podcasts, and
Oh, really?
He's obviously like no spring chicken, but he's in pretty good shape for a dude who took bumps in a wrestling ring for years. And
well, I was saying like Chuck Norris is like in his mid 80s or something too. I wouldn't want to mess with him.
Totally. Oh, they got that old man strength too, man.
Yeah.
Don't F with the older guys, man.
Yeah.
Those guys, they don't give a shit.
I might have a gray beard, but I'm just a pup compared to them, and I'm soft.
Totally. I feel like that sometimes. I'm like, man, I'm in my 40s, but I don't feel that old, even though I look old. My gray ass beard and my bald head.
Yeah, I don't feel old at all either. But then, you watch football game and you're like, every single player out there is like young enough to be my kid.
Yeah.
Really, like it's nuts.
Oh, there's people we talk to on this podcast that are young enough to be my kid. So anyway, man.
Oh, it's funny.
Good interview. I got 2 more booked for next week. I don't know what your availability is, but Monday we got Elise coming back from Lilac.
Okay.
Round 2. And then Tuesday we have a band called Pistols at Dawn that I need to dig into some research.
I think I've heard of them before.
They're a newer band, but I think like everyone in the band is going to be on. So
did you ever secure that bigger one? I don't know if we can talk about it or not, but
not yet. But okay. I'm going to work on that because we're getting a lot of press for them, and I think that's a great idea. So
yeah,
fingers crossed on that.
Sounds good. Whatever works. I'm just happy to do this, whether it's a local band or a big band. It's
yeah,
fun to get to know people and hear
it's much nicer to have another person on too. Like it's just a better dynamic when it's more than just me. I mean, I'll do it myself, but it's nice to have you on.
Yeah, well, I just looked ahead to what was scheduled on YouTube, and I'm like, Dirty Honey. I'm like, I got to get on that one.
Yeah, and your enthusiasm made me go, oh, I better listen to this band. And I was like, I was not lying. I am very impressed with their record. I'll probably go.
It's just fun. Like the weather's changing here now. It's pretty cold, but like in the summertime, just put the windows down and crank something up like Dirty Honey. It's just awesome. Just hit the highway, and it's great cruising music.
Did you ever get into the Black Crowes at all?
Mm-mm.
Their first couple records are like that for me. Like just it, I love, and they did an album with Jimmy Page, like Live at the Greek, where they play a bunch of Zeppelin covers.
Okay.
But Amorica and Southern Harmony, Musical Companion. If you like the Dirty Honey stuff, those are like albums you should definitely listen to. Amorica, especially. Amorica has this like rock and roll soul singer country. Like there's one of my favorite songs on it has slide guitar like country. It's called Wiser Time. It's amazing record. Every song is great on it.
Good to know.
The cover was banned because it had a girl's the cover has like a woman's like hips with a bikini bottom, and just like the top of her pubes are coming out of it. So they, like Walmart, like there's an alternate cover they got censored, with it's just the swimsuit and black background, but it was kind of controversial for that reason. But absolutely, as far as like rock and roll records go, probably in my top 20 of like just front to back great records. I bet you would dig that record.
Yeah. I mean, I don't listen to a ton of it, but like if I had to pick a decade of the best music overall, it'd probably be the 70s. Like they just great music. And like I love CCR and
that was the golden age, really.
Yeah.
Because I think that was like the peak of like the record making craft, before everything went digital. Like 70s, and then the 80s. Kenny and I talked about this. Like, I love a lot of 80s stuff too, but in the 80s, they kind of added a layer of cheese. Like, all the keyboards came in and all the, like, shit. And the 70s were, before that, a lot of the, like, any of the synthetic sounds they use, like a Fender Rhodes and stuff, were still kind of analog and natural, so it still sounds warm and it doesn't sound, like, fake and processed like a lot of the 80s stuff does.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there is some 80s stuff that I really dig. Some of it, I wonder if it's just nostalgia, like 80s, early 90s. But overall, I'm like, I I really don't like a lot of 90s music until it got to like the heavier stuff in the late 90s.
Really?
But yeah, I don't know. I never really got into a whole lot of the grunge and things like that, but
yeah. I
I
mean, there's a lot
appreciate
of
some of it, but it's just, it doesn't grab my heart like the metal did later on.
Sure. There's a lot of good stuff from that era too. I almost feel like the 90s was kind of a mini 70s in some respects because it was kind of like a backlash against all the fakeness of the
All
80s.
the 80s,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it was more in the rock world, where in the 70s, all the best stuff was like funk and soul, and I mean that's not true. There was a lot of great metal and rock in that era too. Like all genres were like I said, it's like a golden age.
Yeah.
Pop music even was great in the 70s.
Mhm.
So anyway, we should probably shut this down.
We got to get Eric on again. I haven't seen his face in so long.
He's been busy, man. He's out doing the dog show circuit, and he's got his day job and everything. So, but things are going well. I've been starting to do the posts, like the press releases, and I've got into a little bit of I got some ideas that we'll talk about later. But anyway, things are trending in the right direction. So
awesome.
Good to see you, my friend. And if you can jump on next week for either of these, I'm trying to book some more, but we got Monday and Tuesday already. And
I'll do my best. Monday won't work for sure. I'm getting my tat colored in a little bit. So
awesome. Yeah, I need to get some work done soon, man. I've been too poor to get tatted lately, but that's a whole other story for another time. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, y'all. Joey, we'll see you next time, and
see ya.
Keep it brutal, y'all.